The universe is full of graveyards. We look to the stars and see the remnants of dying suns, nebulas formed from the debris of stellar explosions, the cosmic recycling that fuels the birth of new worlds. But right here on Earth, in the crushing blackness of our own inner space, there exists a similar majestic cycle of death and rebirth. It is a process that has occurred for millions of years, hidden in the eternal midnight of the deep ocean. But today, we are traveling to the frozen edge of the Arctic Circle, to the coast of Eastern Greenland, to witness a disruption in this celestial order. We are diving into a story of ice, survival, and a deep-sea ecosystem denied its most vital sustenance. You are watching ASTRO TIME, and I'm RattanKumar. Welcome to Tasiilaq. Here, the geography is defined by the brutal architecture of the cryosphere. The air temperature is a shattering -20 degrees Celsius. The wind howls across the pack ice, a white expanse that looks solid but hides treacherous secrets. To tell this story, acclaimed underwater photographer Alex Dawson undertook a logistical odyssey that rivals a space expedition. It took an hour of travelling across the frozen sea, a convoy of snowmobiles dragging sledges piled high with 6 divers worth of life support gear, cameras, food, safety lines and ice drills. The environment here is actively hostile. Dawson describes the trek on foot as a minefield. Without snowshoes, every step threatens to punch through the thin crust, plunging your legs into freezing slush. But the true mission lay beneath. After hours of manual labour, chipping away at 3 feet of solid ice, the team carved a small triangular portal, a gateway into the underworld. Dawson, encased in a heavy dry suit, thick hood and gloves, was the first to slip through the needle's eye. The shock was immediate. Despite the thermal protection, he describes the sensation as if his face were falling off. The water here is supercool to -2 degrees Celsius, fluid yet colder than ice itself. Following him into this thermal shock was Anna von Boticher, a competitive freediver whose bravery borders on the superhuman. Wearing only a 5mm wetsuit, she entered a realm where she could survive for only 45 seconds at a time before the cold would shut her body down. As Dawson descended, tethered by a safety rope, he left the world of sunlight behind. He dove straight down, away from the hole, into the gloom. This is where the psychology of the deep takes hold. He recalls the creeping fear, the sensation of floating in a black abyss, feeling as though unseen leviathans are lying in the darkness, looking up at you. When he reached the seafloor, he had to lie still in the silt, breathing, waiting for his eyes to adjust to the crushing gloom. And then, the shapes emerged. Bathed in the spectral blue light filtering through the ice ceiling, an acropolis was revealed. At a depth of just 5 meters, lying in the shallows, were the skeletal remains of 20 Minke whales. It was a sight both striking and deeply troubling. There are so many bones everywhere, Dawson realized. A mass grave of giants silenced in the shallows. But even as he captured these haunting images that would later win him the title of Underwater Photographer of the Year 2024, the ocean reminded him of its power. A sound ripped through the water, a loud boom like dynamite exploding underwater. Then another, it was the tide turning. The pack ice above, a chaotic mass of frozen tectonic plates, was shifting. Dawson knew the danger immediately. If the ice compressed that single triangular hole, his only exit to the atmosphere, would vanish. It would take the surface team over an hour to drill a new one. He would be trapped in an icy tomb. Yet, in the face of this claustrophobic terror, he forced a mantra into his mind. Focus on the photography. Everything will be fine. He survived to tell the tale, but the story his photos tell is one of an ecological short circuit. To understand why, we must look to the geography of the deep ocean. In the natural order, whales are the immense biological batteries of the sea. They are the largest animals to have ever existed, and when they die, they are supposed to fall. This phenomenon is known as a whale fall. It is a gravitational journey that takes the carcass from the sunlit surface through the twilight zone down to the abyssal plains, and sometimes into the deepest trenches of the planet. The deepest whale carcass ever discovered lay at a staggering 4,204 meters, over 13,000 feet, in the southwest Atlantic. It was an Antarctic minke whale that had been resting there for a decade. In the nutrient-starved desert of the deep sea, a whale fall is an oasis. It is a biological singularity. When a whale lands on the abyss floor, It triggers a succession of life that lasts for decades. First come the scavengers, the sleeper sharks, the hagfish that burrow face first into the flesh, and the amphipods. They strip the soft tissue, but the magic happens when only the bones remain. The skeleton is rich in lipids and oils. This attracts the zombie worms, the osedacs, which have evolved root-like systems to dissolve bone and feed on the fats within. As the bones decay, they release sulfur. This creates a halo of chemical enrichment in the sediment, mimicking the volatile environment of hydrothermal vents. Bacteria that thrive on chemicals rather than sunlight. Chemosynthetic organisms begin to bloom. They form thick bacterial mats supporting clams, mussels, and snails. A single whale fall can support 407 distinct species. It creates a biodiversity hotspot rivaling the most active volcanic vents. Experts believe that for millions of years, these carcasses have been corridors of evolution, allowing deep-sea life to hop from one island of food to the next across the vast ocean basins. But in Tasiilaq, this cycle is broken. The bones Dawson photographed will never reach the abyss. They are the result of subsistence hunting. Tasiilaq is a remote settlement where agriculture is impossible. Indigenous Greenlanders rely on the ocean for survival. When they catch a Minke whale, a species that is abundant globally, they drag it to the Flensplassen, the skinning grounds. The meat and blubber are harvested and the bare skeletons are reclaimed by the tide, but they do not float to the deep, they are trapped in the shallows. This geography of human survival creates a geography of deprivation in the deep. This deep sea denied means that the sleeper sharks, the osedax worms, and the chemosynthetic bacteria are starved of a massive input of energy. The ecosystems that should be blooming in the dark are left barren. This local reality mirrors a global tragedy. Over the last century, industrial whaling decimated the ocean's giants. We culled nearly 3 million whales, the largest removal of biomass in human history. We stripped the ocean of its architects. Scientists like Greg Rouse at the Scripps Institution of Oceanography warn us that we are still living in an era of ghostly silence. There are far fewer whale skeletons falling to the seafloor than there were 100 years ago. We have likely caused the extinction of entire species of deep-sea creatures before we even knew they existed, simply by cutting off their food supply at the surface. The thriving whaleful communities we find today are just the remnants of a once glorious network that spanned the globe. So, as we look at Dawson's images of the boneyards in the shallows, beautiful, eerie and bathed in blue light, we are looking at a disruption of the planetary machinery. It is a reminder that the ocean, like the cosmos, is a delicate balance of gravity, life and death. When we interrupt the fall of the giants, the silence in the deep grows just a little bit louder. From the frozen ice of Greenland to the bottom of the world, everything is connected. I'm RattanKumar, and this is Astro Time. Keep looking up and keep looking deep.